Welcome one and all to Syncretism. You're with Santos Bonacci, and guests today I have with me the usual Kate and Tony, and we have Cindy with us today. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it all going?
Good. Got the helm for you here, and looking forward to some wonderful revelations.
Oh, yeah. How are you, Cindy?
Well, her mic's hot. Just one sec. Let me just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How
there
about
you are.
now? Ah,
Yeah.
there we go. I had to push my button.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's my favorite blog talk saying.
Yeah. How is everybody?
Great.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. How are you, Tony, over there in the UK?
Yeah, not too bad, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Absolutely fantastic, guys. We've got a big show today. We're only 5 days from the big crossing, which is the birthday of the universe, 0 point in all cycles. Not just the processional cycle. We're talking about big cycles. I've covered this subject in as best as I can, not being, of course, a scientist or anything like that, but as best as I can, I've covered the cycles and zeroed in on them and in my presentations, and this is the big one. So today we're gonna focus on that. We're going to talk about the subject of light, and we're going to get into some Russellian science, because the wonderful Walter Russell had a lot to say about the true nature of existence. And I'm going to read some choice bits from one of his greatest work, The Secret of Science. So the listeners are in for some really good information to prepare them for the great crossing that's coming on the weekend. So this is going to be a great show, folks.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say, just before we get stuck into it, just a quick 2 or 3 minute diversion. Please, friends, if you're interested in the preservation of truth and the furtherance of light and truth on this planet, stay tuned tomorrow on American Freedom Radio, because I'm going to expose some individuals who are seriously, viciously slandering the truth and pretending to be agents of light, and I will expose them. I won't spend much time on them, probably about 10 minutes, because they're not worth it. They're just not worth it. These are people who are infested with mental viruses. They cannot discern the difference between truth and the lie, and they serve the lie. They pretend to be friends of truth, these four that I'm going to mention, and their names are Joe, Kay, David, and Declan. So I know they're listening in, and they will be exposed. I've been very lucky. Guys, I need to say this first of all. I have been very protected by these type of creepy people. To say that in 2 years of putting out truth information on syncretism, astrology, astrotheology, sovereignty, law, astronomy, I've taught people about etymology, Russellian science, biochemistry, the cell salts, sacred geometry, numerology, music, languages. I mean, I can go on. For 2 years I've been doing this, and I have only had 4 vicious slanderers who have attacked me. And not me. They attack the truth, because, it's like an out-of-control immune system that attacks everything that comes into the body. When the immune system is out of whack, if you put something good in it, it will actually attack it, right? And because it's not working properly. So to say that I've only had 4 of these creepy types, when I look at other truthers out there, other great, great people and see all of the attackers and all the naysayers that jump on them like parasites and vampires and scorpions hiding behind rocks to bite at the heels of men who are standing in their honor and who are delivering truth in this dark world that we live in. To say that I've only had 4 of these creepies, and the latest one, little boy Joe with that, I don't know, when you look at his face on his videos, you can tell that there's some, I mean, the guy has only got one talent to his name, and that is to slander. He's all full of slander. And I'll just share with the folks that this guy's making videos saying, and I will declare tomorrow on American Freedom Radio how much money I make from American Freedom Radio, because he's gone out and said that I get paid by American Freedom Radio. Well, I'm going to put that one to rest. That's slander, and I'll fix that tomorrow. And the other thing he's done is he's actually gone and insulted all the musicians in the universe who have ever lived, because I'm a world-class musician, and I do street performances, but I do not put my hat out. I've never done that. If you ever see any pictures of me where I put my hat out, that's because I'm playing with someone else who insists that they put the hat out so that they can have coffee money. But I only perform in shopping centres and malls and top quality gigs without my hat. I only sell my CDs. So I've always been a street performer in this context, people. I play my guitar and I sell my top quality CDs. I've sold over 100,000 CDs in my 12-year street performing career. And that has, amounted to much pleasure and joy for the people who have bought those CDs. He has gone and called me, apart from telling the world and issued in his videos that I get money from American Freedom Radio. I'll fix that one tomorrow from the station itself. He's called me a panhandler. Now, this is what happens when people have mental viruses. Tomorrow I will point people to the videos that they can go and watch from this Joe, I don't know what his surname is, but anyway, he's a slanderer, and I'll put that to rest. And that's all I want to say. If you care to add anything to that, Kate or Cindy or Tony, feel free to, but I don't think we should spend any more time on it.
Yeah,
and move on to the good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Don't give him any more energy, Santos. I mean, every time I've seen you play music, your hat's on your head, and I think enough said there.
Yeah. No, my attitude's simply this, and it's like I don't even know the guy, and people like that, what they offer me is a beautiful opportunity to take an even deeper look into myself, to gauge where I'm at, and I know my mirror. And no one else knows my mirror. I don't know his, so I don't know what he's looking at, and nor is it any of my business. So all I can do is flow extreme gratitude and pure love for someone who has never met me, has passed extreme judgment for whatever reason. I mean, that's his mirror, and that's okay. But what I did get is a wonderful opportunity to remove any obligation that I may or may not feel. So I have to say thank you, and I blow all the love I can in terms of healing. If that's what you need, then my energy is infinite. So please enjoy that, and that's really it for me. It's like I love, like they say, love thine enemies, and that is love thine no vengeance. And I can't offer anything but love and light and gratitude back to this being for giving me another opportunity to look even deeper into my own mirror, to make sure that I can look in it and say I'm doing the right things, and I am making a difference for those that care to allow me to do that without obligation. So thank you.
Yes, just throw them some love. Give them a hug. They need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of suffering, and this is clearly an example of much suffering. If people cannot discern that we are here just for truth and for light, and none of us are perfect. I certainly am not, and I constantly tell people, please don't follow me, don't look up to me, please, because I'm that's not my role. I'm just a researcher, and all I want to do is put out information, true information, which will result in knowledge, and then will result in wisdom, so that our brothers, our beautiful brothers, who really seek a better world, will have that. And I hope that for all the listeners, that this show will never, ever be defiled by naysayers and slanderers. Friends, listeners, please, regardless of any of my obvious failings and whatever, please let us look toward the kind of knowledge that will really truly liberate us. We have a chance now. Syncretism's back. It is back, and it's here to stay. And syncretism will dissolve all the falsehoods of this system. Look at this system. Please take a good look at it. Look at how sick this system is. We had a shooting in Connecticut just a couple of days ago, and of course that one's tied to the banksters again. Of course they attacked the son of someone who is going to provide evidence in court against Chase Morgan. This Chase Morgan, whoever, Manhattan Chase Bank, whatever they're called, all of these alphabet banks and agencies, they will perish. They will perish. These are the criminals that are staging these shootings because they have their backs against the wall. They know that the light is coming. They know that the 21st of December will bring a new paradigm to this planet. Whether or not that light will be established instantly and we have instant peace and instant light and love on this planet, we do not know. It might take months, it might take a couple of years, but it won't be long, guys. Rest assured. If they have anything left, it will be manifest in the very, very near future, and it will be dealt with because we will have the light and the equipment. And I will show you today how that's going to happen. And I will share some beautiful information from our beloved brother, Walter Russell, who wrote one of the greatest works in history, the book called The Secret of Light. God is light, the universe is light, we are children of light, even though we suffer in darkness sometimes because we don't have all the information and all the knowledge yet, but we will, because we are connected to it. We are connected to Source, each and every one of us. And today we will be dealing with that subject. And what better people that I have to join me than, and in particular, I want to reach out to all of the listeners who know that I have spent a lot of time with Kate and Tony and Pete, who is not with us today, but and in particular Cindy. Cindy I've known since August last year and has always been a great support to me and my work, but in particular the work that I'm doing. It's not me. It's not me, and it's my work. And Cindy, I'd like to welcome you to the panel, and can you share with us, and Tony will be able to share some light too, because you two are working fervently at the moment to produce a beautiful website whereby we will have the best resources of truth available on the planet, hopefully. Can you share with us what's going on with the website there, please?
I would love to. We are, Kate, Tony, and a few other select individuals are working on a brand new social network and spiritual university, if you will. It will be a library and archive of all the teachers, you, Kate, Tony, and we're going to most likely bring more into it, and it will be a complete archive of every radio show any of you have ever done, every video or anything written, all things combined, and eventually there will be much more webinars. We're going to possibly do, eventually we're looking towards live stream TV, all kinds of new fun stuff, and it's a very beautiful, beautiful site. You can go and take a look at it at just the front door at www.synchronicity.com, and that's SYNCHRENICITY.com. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Just checking that real quick. Yes. I'm sorry, I spelled it wrong. It is www.synchronicity.com, and you'll see the front door to a brand new realm, and it's going to be a really fantastic place to come and learn, and much more.
Yeah, we do need to point out at this particular time, a lot of the information is being put in through the back of the site, so it's not actually available there for public viewing as yet, but we're working on it as fast as we can, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be awesome.
Yes, it will.
And you've got some great people working there. Is that right, Tony? I mean, I know that, but what sort of a team have we got there on this website?
Well, Kate's got Cynthia, given Cynthia, who's working on all Kate's material. Kate's got a massive archive of information, all that's been put into the back end library, so to speak. Cynthia's obviously putting your huge library into place in the back of the site. And obviously I'm putting in the book, which is, the core of the reason why I'm sat here, privileged to be with you guys here today. Releasing the basic information and some, how can I put it, musings behind it, I suppose you could say. Trying to figure out this whole puzzle, as we all are doing. We're all pieces to the puzzle. It's when we bring everything together, that's when it finally clicks. And that's what we're actually doing here. We want to do it through radio shows, video shows, information, documents, videos. Santos, you're world-class blooming videos, mate. They're just incredible. But everybody knows that anyway, so. But the point is, it's world-class information. And that's all about bringing it together and making it all work synchronistically together. I'm working on it.
Yeah, you gotta love those long words,
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I break it down? No, don't worry about it. we won't go there tonight. Yeah, I just wanted to put forth my gratitude for giving Cynthia. I mean, within 24 hours of meeting her, she put up the loveovermind.wordpress site, just set it all up, and has been so meticulous at staying on top of it for me, because I will be blunt and honest, as always, without the potty mouth even, that there is no way I could have maintained any form of an archive with the workload that I'm doing. And every day I wake up questioning, why am I doing this? And the answer is always the same thing. It's because I care about each and every individual on this earth. You're all my blood. You're all my family. I don't differentiate between the direct bloodlines that I'm involved in and others that I've never met. So this is one of the reasons why I do not have any quarrels in my quiver for anyone. Any quarrels they may have with me, well, that's theirs, and they can have that, and that's okay. Again, I go back always to the only source that I have of truth for me, and that's the mirror. and the reflections I get back throughout the days and the weeks of my life of what I interact with. I am but one thread, as we all are. We're all one thread. And the tighter we pull those threads in our lives and tornadoes that we create within our lives only makes it more difficult for us to interweave with others. So what I've chosen to do, it's the only choice I really have made, is to not make a choice anymore, and just to let my thread run loose and to see how I can weave this new space-time fabric with others, and what kind of pictures that we can weave together. And until we decide as individuals collectively to just let it loose a little bit, let it go, take the tension out of it, and see how you weave with those around you, how your coincidences and synchronicities line up when you start following your own white rabbit. And the only truth that has been fully resonant, that encompasses everything that I've looked at throughout my particular thread of life here, is that as soon as I follow that one beautiful synchronicity, white rabbit, it leads me to the next, and leads me to the next, and to the next, and I find myself weaving in and out of this beautiful tapestry. And to try to describe the people I get to meet, those that I get to associate with and talk to, I don't have any words for that. I think you know what I mean. It's just it is overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, Kate, you just said something just a second ago, and I do have to give Cynthia a shout out, because she is like my web GPS. She's the one training me how to get all of Santos's stuff uploaded to this site, and she is a gem. I just love her. Love her, love her, love her. Love you, Cynthia.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Pretty efficient, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also got to bring forward a beautiful spirit called Spirit Dancer. She was actually the co-host to my book, Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness, and I couldn't have done this without Sandy. So I need to put a shout out there. Mm-hmm. Totally. We've all pulled together, and we've all done this, but it's people like Sandy, Cynthia, and Cindy here who help shore us all up so that we can bring this information to you and put it together, and God bless you all. God bless all of you.
Oh,
just one last thing that I'd like to share, and this is for everyone listening out there, because we could spend the next 25 shows just doing shout outs to people. So you're listening, and I know you are, and I want you that knows who you are, that have come into contact in my life. Thank you so much for changing it with that beautiful thread of yours. And you know who you are. I don't need to say anything more than that. And it goes out to each and every one of you.
Yeah, and I'd like to just mention too, friends, that the website that is being developed, it's not going to take away from my other two websites, which are very important to me, and that is the School of the Holy Science, which I am involved with Bill Donahue, Marty Leeds. I also have Matt Presti and Robert Otey joining me. I can announce that. And I'm not going to be diverting any attention from that website. And that website is also one that was put up on my behalf for what I'm teaching by my wonderful friends Ruth and Alan Smith in Portugal. And I don't want to diminish that by announcing that I'm part of this new website. And I also do not want to diminish my Universal Truth School. Please keep that in mind. So I'm spreading myself around here, but I'm doing this not for me. I'm doing this for to get out there as much as possible. And this is why I'm involved with a lot of radio stations, etc. Sometimes it gets you in trouble because, one station wants all of you. And I don't believe in that at all. I'm not loyal to names or personalities here. I am loyal to the truth, and I want people to know that because otherwise anything other than that is a hindrance. So please understand that, friends. I'm not diminishing anything from that. I've had help from a lot of people, from which I really, really appreciate, and I want people to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely.
Ruth Smith is just a beautiful, beautiful angel, and yes, I agree with your comments there, Santos. I believe eventually that all of this is going to sync together and work together and reach more people, I believe. That's just how I feel.
And Cindy, you know very well how much Ruth has been very, very loyal to the astrotheology and to my work. In fact, you were there when we started our webinars with the certain type, David Simonson.
Yes, I remember.
Havoc for the world thereafter, and still is. But he will have his day, and I'll make sure of that. But Ruth has been there loyally for me, and the support and a wonderful help, and you know that very well. So
I sure do. We were all affected by that person, and he didn't stop us. So we're still here.
Not. And I'm so excited to people to announce that we've got Matt Presti and Robert Otey, probably the world's foremost Russellian natural science teachers that there are. I've had them on this show. I've had them on American Freedom Radio, and the positive feedback that I've gotten from that is just incredible. And they will be joining us at the School of the Holy Science for webinars. And of course, we've also got Johan Oldenkamp that's with us there. So we've got a good little group. But with that school, I'm going to focus more on astrotheology and the holy science and stuff like that, you see. So
yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and all of the teachers there are absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited to hear about Matt and Robert. That's really, really awesome news.
Oh yeah. They are doing a wonderful work, and they've got the beautiful website. I think it's called thesecretoflight.com. But anyway, you can easily find the work, and they've got all these beautiful videos, like 10-minute, 20-minute videos of Russellian science, and it's absolutely exquisite. So I'm so happy to be able to work with people like that, and that school is only growing by the day, and it will grow. And I promise people that we will keep forever teaching true things, forever keeping humble as much as we can, and as much as we can, we will always be in service to humanity to bring light and truth. And that's my promise to you. And so let's hope and let's work to making stations like this grow in listenership, and so we can help people on the path of true liberation and freedom in this bedarkened world. But without further ado, guys, I want to read some beautiful stuff from Walter Russell, please. Please allow me. On page 173 of The Secret of Light, he talks about the nature of light and the nature of existence. And this is what he says. All nature is an expression of the two desires of the Creator. The desire for separation from the oneness of rest in Him into a multiplicity of imaged forms of His imagining, and for the avoidance of that multiplicity by a return to rest in His oneness. Now, what he's saying here is that there are two desires that the Creator expresses. One, to divide in duality, and so that we can have dimension and experience, and we can do things, and then for that separation of the oneness to go back into the stillness. So we see in nature a pulsating rhythm, where we see separation into duality and experience, and then we see that wanting to go back to rest. All of nature seeks rest, because nature has been divided from rest. It's been separated from rest to give us this beautiful expression that it is. Nature in its beauty illusory beauty, that is. Nonetheless, it is beautiful. It is glorious. But nature is always seeking its rest. And what the 21st of December this year is all about is about rest. You see, the Mayans teach us that the fifth sun will be born on that day. And it is a day of pure light that will be born. A day of pure light. And that's what God is. God is light. And we will know that light. We will know the light like we've never known it before. We already are light bodies. We are Merkaba vehicles. And we know that. But the knowledge of this is still a little bit bedarkened. We are looking through a glass darkly. A murky glass still. But when that light arrives, that true light which is called the Christ, when the Christ returns, we will be christened or christened in that light, and we will have rest. This is what the Bible talks about when it talks about the day, God's day of rest. You see, because this is what we've experienced so far in this dualistic Piscean age, is a day of division. It's been a dark day of division and duality. The two fish pulling away from each other. One believes, one doubts. Well, Aquarius is bringing about, is about to unify that division of the fish. The waters that are pouring forth from Aquarius are uniting waters. These are waters of light. These are light because Aquarius is an air sign, and air is what carries light. It's the gas, it's the plasma that carries the light. So Aquarius is going to facilitate this light. And it's an undivided, we are going to be introduced, and we haven't had this light for aeons of time, but we are going to be introduced to the one united, white, pure light of love. And that's what we're going to look forward to, friends.
Yay!
Gonna be a trip.
Amen. Oh, and before you go on, I just wanted to say that in about 4 minutes, my sister and my two nephews will be taking off from Toronto, Pearson International, to head home to Ireland for Christmas. So they will be, their flight path goes right past me. Hopefully the clouds are clear where I'll be able to see them in about 12 minutes. And just wishing them well.
Oh, yes. They'll be on my mind.
Beautiful. Now, the sun, as Walter Russell say about the sun, on page 199, he says this, all things in this solar system come from the sun and return to it. The life germ for which man is seeking is in the sun. The idea of man is in the sun. Likewise, all idea of all things is in the sun, awaiting birth into form. The pulsing light of polarity borns all idea into its form when conditions are favourable for each idea to be mothered by an extension of the sun. This is how important the sun is, people. We come from the sun. It's the Garden of Eden from which we have fallen. Our true home is the sun. It's the portal back to unconditioned consciousness. We are headed for the sun. The sun is the Saviour, Jesus Christ, by the way, in theology. Not the literal one that comes in the cloud, the Humpty-Dumpty ones that the churches are teaching. This is true science. The sun is the Saviour. It's the Archangel Michael. And our souls will be lifted up as the sun lifts up water from the oceans and it evaporates and forms clouds. The sun has the same power to lift up souls and spirits unto it. You see, I am the light of the world. No one goes to the Father except through me. And the Father is the mother too, by the way, for all the people that still worry about these gender duality definitions. Walter Russell has got it right. It's the mother father. The son is not a father. It's a mother father. It doesn't work like that in the unity world. These are only definitions that we need to that we need to utilize in the dualistic world, which are handy, but when you have knowledge and insight and understanding, you realize that these are just words that point us to a far superior language of unity. And that's what Russell was all about. He says further from there, he says, everything in nature is a moving extension from a still point of the one light. The center of the sun in our solar system is the point of still light from which everything in the entire solar system radiates spirally, and toward which it gravitates spirally for its resurrection into another cycle. Now this is science, guys, and the Bible talks about this. This is what the Bible talks about when churchgoers talk about the rapture. That's what it is. The Jesus that returns, the Christ that returns, is this fifth sun, which will introduce to us a light which has never been known before on this planet. Yes, we have had ages of great consciousness on this planet. 12,000 years ago, when the great megaliths of Egypt were built, and we were in the golden age, and we built these beautiful edifices with our own hands, and we fell from that glorious higher dimensional vibration, and here we have been in darkness for many thousands of years now. And this is why he says here that we gravitate spirally for our resurrection into another cycle. The sun is the seed of this solar system from which all manifestations of idea in this entire system extend and to which they return. Motion is for the sole purpose of manifesting idea. There you go. The idea is born in the still light, folks. It's born in the still light, which is what we call God, stillness. And then motion comes from that. And motion is two lights. Two lights. Electromagnetic lights. And which produce all of the motion that we see. So we are going to be introduced, after the crossing, we are going to be introduced to a new way of thinking and being, in which we will see the unity of all things. Duality will still persist, because, as Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Whilst there is a material world, there will always be duality. But it is possible to rise as individuals above the duality and live in unity. And that's the purpose of it. And I'm going to explain that in a moment as I read. I've got a few more choice portions to read from, so please bear with me, guys. I know you're loving this. So enjoy. This is from one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. And Walter Russell had his pineal gland opened at the age of 7. Yeah, and that's the kind of light we're talking about. It's beautiful, exquisite light. All right, I'll continue on. It says, as it unfolds from its seed, it refolds into it. It therefore follows that motion is a seeming two-way extension, retraction from and to a point, and has no existence save to senses, which sense but the extension, and not the voiding simultaneous reaction. All suns of all the heavens are centered by the still points of omnipresent light, from which all idea extends and returns. Suns are seeds of idea. From those seeds, all form emerges. To those seeds, all form returns. Everything which appears on earth as form of idea is in the sun as concept of that idea in the seed. The seed is the father light which extends its idea of man and other creating things out into far space, where its children, the planets, have sufficiently cooled to manifest the man idea in organic form, So isn't this beautiful how he explains this? It's so clear. Inside all of the suns, idea of human being. And when the idea is projected forth out of the radiating light of the sun, there is the germ of life which the planets receive. So Mother Earth has received the idea of man and formed it and manifested it kindly out of her elements. She has given the elements, and the Father, our Father who is in the heavens, the Son, has given and produced and born the idea. So we need to thank this orb that is shining in the skies. We need to raise our eyes and our hearts in gratitude to this orb that produces photosynthesis and light and love emanate. Still light that is in the center of this sun that is in the heavens. That's where we come from.
Absolutely. And ultimately, that's who we are.
Yes. We all have a central sun inside of us.
Yes. Yes, in the heart. And Walter Russell has to that many, many times. Our heart is a little sun. In fact, that's why Leo rules the heart, the lion heart, because that's the home of the sun in Leo, and Leo is in the heart, and the heart is where the sun dwells. This is why pictures of Jesus are always pointing to the heart, because he's saying, that's what you are. You are young stars, youngsters. Sisters, you are Isis stars. Brothers, Theos. And that's what we are. And so should we reduce ourselves? Why should we reduce ourselves to being servants of this system? We should be totally free from all of this world and this system and the darkness that is produced in this world. Hey guys, I'm going to have to rest Walter Russell. I've got quite a bit more to read. Please, Kate, up here your comment.
Oh yeah, you might want to check your mic because you're breaking up a little bit, just for distance reasons. Yeah, I mean the resonance that comes for me is, I mean, we all have to find our own X, our own key, as the Greeks would say it, to our door of God on our yellow brick road to finding the Emerald City, right? Dorotheos. That's the door of God, and that's what Dorothy represents in the beautiful, naive child that she is, on her way to first get rid of the mindless straw man, which is the legal system, to understand that you are not a fiction that people have been sold into, and they're still wanting to play that. Quick note to those that are seeking any sort of there's very specific things that have to be done, and I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it some more as I unfold this one for myself and others. But what you need to do is remember the crossroads where Dorothy met the mindless one, and she took advice from it, and certainly she followed her own intuition and went down the road a bit further to find the empty vessel called the Tin Man. And the only thing that needed to complete the Tin Man, or that empty frozen vessel, because truth had literally stymied it in fear, called rust. And all you have to do with that vessel is find your heart within it, which was always there. And of course, moving on down the trail of the yellow brick road, she came across finally the Cowardly Lion, where for me that was a representation of finding the courage within to find that lion heart that would ultimately lead them to the Emerald City. And while en route there, of course, traveling through the poppy fields, put Dorothy, her lion heart, and of course Toto, the extension of herself, for Toto Jeannery, put them to sleep. And the only thing that could finally wake them up was the cold, hard truth called snow, the whitest truth. And upon awakening, finally made her way to the Emerald City. And that's what we're doing. The Emerald City representation of love. That is the green language. That is the heart. And until you can, it's like the Wicked Witch says just before she gets melted, and your little dog too, the last to go will see the first three go before her. So to me, that was, in order to find your own Emerald City, you have to let go of the straw man, the mindless one, because it's trying to keep you fighting and creating tornadoes. You find your heart, and you find the courage to confront all those things in you that has kept you from your own Emerald City, and you have the key within you. That's the X that Saint marks the spot. It's within you. And all I urge you to do is find the courage to confront yourself and all those things within you, because you are merely the mirror reflection of other suns around you. Dare to shine bright, and dare to stand in your ruby red slippers, which were originally silver, for truth. Dare to be so strong to stand in that truth that not even the Wicked Witch with all her power could remove it, because once you stand in the truth, it can never be taken from you. And you have to walk in it. It's not just an issue of standing in it. You must walk in it. And walk in it Dorothy did. And she found the door to God herself within.
Absolutely.
I think that's absolutely brilliant how you have broken that movie down, Kate. And what just came to mind when you were saying mirror made me think of another movie that I grew up on, and that's The Never-Ending Story. And I believe all of the movies have their little code inside of them, but The Wizard of Oz is absolutely brilliant, and I'm really impressed with what you have been bringing forth.
Well, it's impressed.
It's right there.
I know. You know what I'm like.
I know. I'm sorry, Kate.
No, it's like a humility thing, because here's the thing: I never claim any truth. You see, because it belongs to all. How can I claim it? All I can do is live it and be a part of it, and hopefully share enough of it from my particular thread. So no, and again, no offense taken or rendered or anything. It's that beautiful neutral area. I get it, and I am very happy to be of service if it is helpful for anyone to start to resonate with them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. And you're right about The Never-Ending Story. What a beautiful story, and it is. We are in a never-ending story. It is the ebb and flow of creation, the law of correspondence, cosmically speaking, and until you realize and start putting all the seven laws together, we're going to be creating these little drama tornadoes around us all the time. And something else I did want to convey, which I found very, very helpful for myself, and one of the reasons why, and this is back a few weeks now, but I do not put a price on me. Whatever I have to offer, I offer freely without obligation as a true gift. I expect nothing, nor will I oblige anyone to feel obligated to do anything. Because truth, and this has always been resonant within me, truth belongs to all, and all we can do in order to help ourselves the most is to help others around us. And regardless of your station, regardless of your position, be it, and it could be anything from the prince to pauper, it doesn't matter. What is your intent? It is the intent of a gift. Again, it's like I treat it like a 5-year-old, child at Christmas. I mean, when you give a gift to a 4-year-old, what do you expect in return? Nothing. You are only helping. Literally, you're only helping yourself in the notion of the gift, because if there's any expectation of obligation, or for me, if a gift is given with an expectation, that is not a gift, that is a debt, and it's an encumbrance upon both. So what I am at the point in my life, I'm good. It's not that I don't need or want anyone's help. I just don't want anyone to ever feel obligated to that, because the universe has me, and I'm okay with that. I found that invisible bridge across the chasm that Indiana Jones had to take that leap of faith, and I know many of us have taken extreme leaps of faith, and I challenge anyone, to walk in the shoes of Tony or yourself, Cindy, or Santo, or myself to get the full perspective. Because until you've actually walked in the shoes of another who has walked in truth, you don't know. And that's why I will not claim or judge another, because I don't know what your path is. All I can do is resonate what is part of me and what is part of my thread, and how I interweave with another. Because again, go back to the oneness of it all, right? And I loved how Russell puts it with this folding in on itself and expansion, and it's both things operating at the same time. It's that wonderful, it's liquid electromagnetics. It's I can't even really describe it. It's just it's nothing you can put in words. It's just a thing you know. It's the nature of the game.
Yeah, and what you said there about the Wizard of Oz there makes a lot of sense, and it ties in well with what I'm about to read from Walter Russell. You're going to love this. Relax and listen intently, because this is probably the choicest thing you will hear that will prepare you for the next week or so of beautiful, divine salvation and light that is coming. This is what he says on page 206. This is just exquisite. I don't know. I just don't even want to read it. I just want to look at it and know it. Yeah. He says, man is aware of himself as an individual, but his concept of what constitutes his individuality is vague. I think I need my glasses. That's better. Okay. So, and he says, his individuality is what he knowingly interprets his immortal self to be. His self or soul never changes, never appears or disappears. But his individuality constantly changes to forever fit the changing concept of what he interprets his immortal soul, self, to be. As every man gradually comes to know the light of his self in him, his individuality changes by the constant uplift toward that increasing awareness of his centering omniscience. As greater awareness of the light of the universal self comes to man, he gradually loses his individuality and becomes more that universal self. When mankind has become fully aware of God in him, the play of man on this planet is finished, his purpose fulfilled, and the individual man ceases to be. Man loses his expression of life in matter to find eternal life in light. There is no death. Now, were you ready for that?
Wow.
Yeah, all I can say is about time someone said it.
No, it's
What
that was beautiful.
What stands out here is that he identifies the soul as the self and says that never changes and it never appears and it never disappears. But the individuality, that appears and that changes and it forever changes in an uplift, always upward. So this is the key. Are we on this panel and the listeners, hopefully, are we amongst those that are lifting upward, with consciousness and reaching out and wanting to know what is beneficial for the self and for all other beings? Are we caught up in that uplift, or are we being dragged down?
Exactly.
And this is and this is the thing. If there are people out there who are still being caught up in the drama, it's only a drama. It's only a ride, as Bill Hicks used to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's only an illusory ride. When I strike the string of my guitar, I know that the tone that emanates from that string is of brief duration. Beautiful while it lasts. Very healing is music. Very warm to the soul is the tone of the guitar. Very loving it is. But then it disappears back into the stillness whence it came. And it was always there in potential. It was always there in the stillness of light. Because that's what sound is, it's just light. Until someone comes along and strikes that string, and then a beautiful illusion comes out of that string. You know, there's many ways to pluck that string. You know, I've got a repertoire of many tunes that I can play on one string. And all musicians have. That's the nature of music. You can do an infinite number of lengths of songs, melodies of songs, and rhythms in that song. It's infinite, but it's always an illusion, and it always has to go back to the stillness. Stillness is all that exists. We don't exist in our bodies. This is not an existence. The only thing that exists in us is God in us, for we are God. And when we recognize that, bye-bye the individuality, hello the universality. And you know, I've got a long way to go, and I know that, and I acknowledge that, but I'm on that road, man, and I'm hanging on to that ladder, and I'm not, you know, if I take a step backwards or 2 steps backwards, I'm going to seriously project myself upward to take 3 steps up. And that's the attitude and the road that we should all be on.
Yeah, you know,
yes,
we're like, oh, go ahead, Cindy.
No, I was just going to say yes, indeed. There's no turning back now, not for me.
No, absolutely not. I mean, once the seed is planted, and that's what we've done to each and every one of ourselves, is we've planted, you know, well, we've either sown a field of weeds or we've sown an orchard of apples. To put it, there's something that I want to share. It was told to me earlier on this year, and I have to thank Gary. It was actually his late father that told him this, and it always resonated and stuck with me. And for some reason, this is something that I need to figure out. The statement goes like this: fist fight, hold the light, or carry out the dead. And those really are your choices. You see, you can remain in the fighting mentality of the duality, and you're only fighting with yourself. And those that you condemn as others that have, harmed you have actually just as much in the harm have equally helped you by giving you a perspective of something that you would or would not do. So when you can look at elements of, regardless how dark it is, and I mean I look at the pitiful way that those that are still so trapped in this illusion, feel it necessary to, set up and murder children and everything else to try to create some sort of fear. But what's happening now, as it has been for the last very long while, is no sooner does something like this happen that within minutes of it, the truth is exposed. Where, how long did it take us to get past the John F. Kennedy assassination? It took us years, Now we're dealing with minutes. To get past the illusions of these things that those that would try to rule and be an authority, which you cannot be. I am my authority, and you are yours. So fist fight, go ahead if you wish. Stay on your tornadoes and expect a few houses to drop on you, and you will lose your shoes of truth. Or you can carry out the dead, which means, after, it's basically the same thing. It's like when you take the analogy of Christ on the cross and the 2 thieves on each side, when you are at a position where you're done with all the fighting and you have no will left, of course all you can do is carry out the dead, and you're just going to keep perpetuating the game. So for me, it was always a situation of holding the light. And my saying for me has been very simply this: is I will stand to post. I will not yield, and none shall pass. You see, I'm not allowing the darkness past me anymore. And that's all. That's all we have to do, especially now. All we have to do is maintain that beautiful visual of paradise that was lost, that is now returned. And instead of buying into the illusions that are presented for you on that gawk box that they call the TV or whatever, and anyone, I would hazard to say that most of the people listening have turned that off a long time ago because they're listening, and it's true. Instead of taking on somebody else's interpretation, somebody else's illusion of what they want us to be and see, I decided to write my own script from my own thread and see how it weaves with others. And the joy of this has been finding so many other loose threads that I can interweave with. And I got to tell you, the tapestry is looking rather dapper.
Mm-hmm.
Hold the light. Just hold the light. That's all you got to do. There's no more fight, guys. All you have to do is stand. That's it.
And dream big.
Dream big. Stop planning, start dreaming. That's the newest one.
It's an interesting thing as well, like you say, about fighting. If you're fighting anything, if you're fighting the system, if you're fighting this, fighting that, fighting your next door neighbour, if you're fighting anything, you're on the wrong page. That's the point that I take away from that. It's huge. Stop fighting. Just accept it for what it is. Move on and get on to better pastures.
Yeah, and look what the system does too, right? It's all about penalizing and fines and it's all about the money. Well, when you actually, for those that are able to say that money is debt, of course it is. It's promised to pay in the future, so it is an incurred debt. Give them the debt. Give them all the debt they want. That's you want to shed the burdens of this game. Let them have it. Just here you go. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. You want your illusion? You want to build big piles of debt for yourself? Go ahead. I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's just a game, and why would you participate in it any longer? The more you get caught up with the system, and as Tony says, fighting, you're only fighting with yourself. It's just the undesirable parts of you that you're engaging with. You continue to engage with the undesirable parts that you're leaving behind. Everything you see in the world that is undesirable to you, that's in you, that you are shedding and that you are wanting to shed, and so the more you participate in it, that's why we left it very, very brief at the introduction of this show today, or because it you give it time and it just gets into you, and that's your temple. Why do we let these things engage us? So if you engage with the things that you see that you love, then you are headed that way, and you are shedding the things that you don't. And nature shows us this, like a snake will shed its skin every year, and it'll grow a new skin, and it doesn't feel sad about losing that beautiful, sexy skin that it had once upon a time. There's no regret in nature. Nature just goes forward cyclically. Like Russell said, we are going to spirally gravitate. Our souls will spirally gravitate toward the center of the sun when we leave these bodies. How exciting is that? I mean, are you looking forward to that ride? There's no other way, by the way. There's no other way to return to our true paradise like Ulysses did, and like Jesus did, and Buddha, and whoever else in those beautiful stories. It's the story of us. It's the story of our journey back home. Do we want to go back home to that light? Or do we want to stay here in this drama and oh, look at that, oh, and he did this and he did that, and oh, let's get involved in this and fight the system. If you don't pay any attention to it, it will go away. And what remains is the light that you are, the being that you are. And that's it.
I particularly liked the example given in your movie, Santos, the movie that you were in with the other 4 gentlemen or 5 gentlemen, the Crossing Over 2012, where there was one fella, I believe he was in Australia, and I can't pull his name up right now, but he was discussing a storm that was approaching Australia, and how the news was saying, broadcasting that this storm could get much worse. And so the Universal Collective of Australia is watching the news in fear and projecting fear towards the storm, which in turn it did get worse. And whatever you are thinking and whatever you are putting out, you are bringing back upon yourself. So, yeah, that was beautiful.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, so...
This is why we need to concentrate on a positive future and a positive outcome for, all of our future generations. It's all about putting out the good stuff, not focusing on the bad stuff.
But it's like with the shooting here, the so many people I've had to just say, look, just send it love and don't. There are so many people dissecting what happened and around my community here, mothers and children crying and so much explaining to have to be done, and just it's all I tell them is, you guys just lift them up in love, prayer, good intentions. Just send the love to them, and don't fear, don't worry, and explain this to your children. Just send them love and think about these families in a loving manner.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions being spread around now because of that, and just try to remain balanced.
We need to remember. We need to remember all these things have been done. They're not they didn't just happen. He didn't, the guy didn't just happen to wake up and decide to go and shoot people. This has been orchestrated, and that's what people need to begin to understand. The same as 9/11, 7/7, all the rest of it. They've all been orchestrated. They've all been orchestrated for reasons, and it's the results of. It's what comes out of that we need to learn from. We need to be aware of the truth.
Observe the tornado. Don't jump in it.
Yes.
All I can really have is pity for the degraded level of consciousness that, feels it necessary in order to survive in such a dark manner, to manifest something like that. And again, Cindy's right. Just flow love. Don't buy into the fear paradigm anymore, because if you are going to buy into that fear paradigm, you're just empowering it even more. Understand that it was done deliberately to get you to do that, and you can decide whether you're going to agree with it or not. And here's the thing: if you focus on it, what you're doing is manifesting more power towards it, that it will happen again. So that is an obligation upon your shoulders.
Oh yes.
Focus on what change you want to see, not the change that is being thrust upon you by some outside influence. Dare to be the God you are. Not in my universe, sorry, not on my watch. I'm going to hold the light. I'm going to start pushing I already have. Push all these tornadoes away. If they want to bring houses down on themselves, that's their call. Me, I'm okay. Been through enough tornadoes.
Me too.
Oh, you did go through one, didn't you?
Hurricanes, 3 of them. Actually, 4 of them.
Yeah.
And the last one wiped me off the map, and I was still alive, but standing on the side of the street, scratching my head. But it led me to where I am now. And everything does happen for a reason, and I had to lose everything 4 times over. I'm here 2,000 miles away from my children, but I came here to care for my niece, which fills that void somewhat. But it also allowed me the time to dive down this rabbit hole, and that's when I started studying your videos, Santos, and several other people. There's a man up in Canada by the name of Scott Onstadt, has a website called Secrets in Plain Sight, and Marty Leeds with the Sacred Geometry, and so many other teachers, and just it woke me up. There was a reason for everything, and I had to lose myself to find myself.
Yeah, totally. There are so many good guys out there that are giving out some awesome information. Ben Stewart, Esoteric Agenda.
Oh yeah, fantastic
awesome stuff.
Esoteric Agenda would be probably the best video out there, blowing the lid off the whole fiction. And I used to recommend that and forward that video more than any other. Yeah.
You in touch with Ben Santos?
Yeah, kind of in a roundabout way, not directly, but I know that he wants to. Ben and Dan would love to get in touch with me, and I'd love to get in touch with them. They're busy, I'm busy, and it's going to happen because we're teaching and preaching the same message. Look up, the light above will draw us to it. Don't look down to the darkness.
Absolutely.
I do that even in meditation. We were raised to, bow our heads in prayer, but I close my eyes when I am meditating and look up wherever I am, no matter what I'm doing. When I go into that meditation, my head goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly does. I was driving. I was traveling in my car yesterday. I don't drive. I don't have a license. But I was traveling in my car, and I just decided to turn ABC News Radio on to see what the fiction's vomiting now, and it was the news. It was the news hour, and it was so funny to hear. I actually laughed, man. I mean, the news is all about doom and gloom, and you often hear stories, little short snippets, but just to remind us that there are shortages everywhere, and the newsreader will say, and a research developed by the Institute of blah, 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 and a survey conducted over the period of 5, blah, 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 and the results of the survey suggest that by 2030 there will be no water left on the planet. So it's a very precious commodity, and that's why basically the hidden message behind that is that's why the elites are now turning to it to bottle it, put things like fluoride in there, and charge you $3 for fluoridated water, which they label as natural water, and they're trying to control, because, you see, air's free, water's free, and they don't like that. So they pay gazillions of dollars of taxpayer money to these, research institutions that tell us how many shortages we've actually got, and to remind us, and they put these little snippets in, and I laughed and I just thought, shortages, what a crock of shit. There is no shortage of waves, because that's all there is in the universe. Waves, thought waves, electrically charged thought waves. It's a thought wave universe. There's no shortage of them, and there never will be. So I don't see how the molecules that assemble to make water, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, will ever be short on this planet.
And
there never will be shortages.
Yeah, and what we also need to know is if people start studying the works of Marco Rodin, for example, the harmonics and the nature of the universe that we're in, which is a holographic universe and a hologram. Marco Rodin can actually, they can produce water from the energetic field, let's call it, around us. And people can also look at Miahan Kesh, who can manifest matter from 0 point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Again, yeah, exactly. And again, people, all they need to do is just go and look at their stuff, and they'll find out for themselves that there is no shortage of water. There's no shortage of gold. There's no shortage of oil. There's no shortage of anything. The only reason that there's any shortages in this world is because we allowed a system to get in the way and to manufacture shortage. There shouldn't be any shortage of anything. We should have everything that we ever could possibly need and more. And it's only the construct or the system that's got in the way and jammed the cogs of the natural universe around us. And that's it's a reality, guys.
Hey, Santo?
Yep.
I just wanted to ask, I've got a few phone-ins here. I wasn't sure if they had questions or comments. Do you want me to check the lines and see what's going on?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah, yep.
Okay, well, we'll do the first call out to who's been on there. Okay, area code 862-944, making your mic. Just wondering if you have any questions or comments? Okay. Looks like they don't. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Area code 817-323. I'm just trying to get the mic to go hot here for you. There we go. Area code 817-323. Any questions or comments?
I just want to say, when Santos starts talking about them as being buffoons, it just gets to me. But anyway, there's really no shortage of those either. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. We've got to be more aware. We've got to get people to become much more aware. And I'm just hoping that's where this age is bringing us to when we come into Aquarius.
That's exactly where we're going. And yeah, they're getting fewer by the day, though. I will say that it's beautiful to witness an awakening from, well, my perspective where I sit. What about you guys?
Well, I was just thinking that's an interesting comment that the caller is making, because there is potential. There is always the potential for every single one of those sleeping masses to actually get it. We get it. I mean, here we are talking, and we get it. We understand, man. The system's controlled. All of that violence that's going on is done by the Vatican and the CIA and the Bilderbergers and all those shitheads. Pardon my French, but they deserve it. They're our naughty brothers, and they need a good spanking on the bum, and they'll get it. They will get it, and they deserve it, and they will get it, and hopefully they'll repent. The potential for, on the 21st, for everybody to get it and lay down their arms and just turn around and stare in the eyes of one of their brothers and say, what the hell did I think that you were separate from me? And I've been hurting you, and I've been attacking you, and you are me. And we can just, then we can have a big party. Imagine that. It's likely not going to happen, but but let's investigate this potential.
Yeah, I definitely get that, and thank you for the comment. Code 803-261. Questions or comments? Area code 803-261. Okay, just listening. Okay, I got one more, Santo, and then we'll continue on here. Okay. We got two more. I guess people are wanting to call in now. Area code 774-230. Questions or comments?
Always talk.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, I guess not.
I can't wait to go to work. That's awesome. I'm really glad, because, that's what you...
There we go. Okay, area code 75736. Any questions or comments? Waiting for it. There you are.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, I have a question about the fighting that we're supposed to pull away from at this time. I'm in the legal system through my daughter, and she has, I'm just wondering how I would handle something like that now. Should I maybe wait until after the 21st and then engage with the legal system that she is, confronted with right now?
Well, the only thing that I will offer on that is all of this is merely a test, and it's a test of our inner self. Now, I'm working on a couple of final things here as far as how the whole system has committed fraud from the get-go, and that any use of the name by the system is in fact fraud as well, because they're dealing with basically something that was never made into a lawful document. So not only are they committing fraud on the grand level, what they're doing is they're also aiding and abetting others to commit fraud as well. So it's a double cross, double jeopardy for them.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, again, I will never give legal advice in any way, because I've left the straw man far behind. Been there, done that. Gave back to the straw man. So I really, Santos, any comments?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I would say, see what happens on the 21st, and let's hope that this birthday of the universe will bring us all the goodies. Santa Claus is coming, and he's going to bring us all the goodies we want. I really, really believe in my heart of hearts that there will not be a need for it, because the people who are harassing your daughter is a legal system. It's a fiction. It's a corpse. It's dead. And all dead things will not, all dead, evil, dark things will not exist after that day. I am 100% sure of that. And I know that. I know that because there's a certain knowing. There's a certain knowing that you get. It's not about feeling, oh, I feel that maybe this is going to happen, or I think that. It's not about opinions, it's about knowing. I know that the glorious world of love is coming. And our dark brothers will have to repent in an instant of an eye, of a blinking of an eye. They will have to. There's no choice, or they will be dissolved. So hang in there, sister. Hang in there. Yeah, because either way, hang in there, because either way, you will win. Because you are the goddess that you always dreamt that you were, and you will beat the dead corpse. The corpse has got nothing on you or your daughter.
Right. Yeah, that was my feeling too. So let's wait now until after the 21st, because I totally know this too, and I feel so thankful and appreciative. Cindy is the one that turned me on to you also, and I've believed everybody ever since then. Thank you. Thanks, Cindy, everybody.
Oh, who is this?
Darlene.
Darlene, hi.
Hey,
so glad you called in, honey. Yeah, just hang in there. It's things are about to take a big, huge shift and change.
Like I said, it's totally like waiting for Santa Claus. That's what I feel. All right, thank you for the support and the encouragement. I appreciate it.
Love you, Darlene.
So much love. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for calling in.
I was through all in the same room together. You just give a big hug. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. That's awesome. And just for those listening, Santa Claus is coming to town. And I will tell you, the Invisible Wizard is watching. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good, for goodness sake. And that's all you have to do, is to step into the good light. And Santa Claus has got some treats coming. We've seen a few things that most people wouldn't fathom or believe, but I understand why, and I have a sneaky suspicion why we've been missing this so far. But once you get into the synchronicities of life and the no coincidences and start following those white rabbits, what I just said will actually make sense. So the next time something gives you a hunch, go look it up. And by the way, I would have a handy copy of the Black's Magic 9th edition nearby. So if a word resonates with you, look it up and see what it tells you. Won't you be surprised? Promise.
And I'll just have an oh my God to the end of that system.
Yes.
Because Kate's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and Santa Claus, by the way, that's in your head. That's the claustrum upstairs, near, emanating from the pia mater in the cerebrum, is the claustrum, otherwise known as the Santa Holy Claustrum. And that Santa Claus is coming, because he pours out, that Santa Claus is where all the oils, the chrism, that run through your cerebrospinal system come from. It's produced in the claustrum. So that's the gifts from Santa Claus. And the North Pole is the top of the head, the very, very top of the head, and that's where the claustrum is situated. And as those oils flow down the cerebrospinal system and down to the sacrum, another beautiful, beautiful place of the body, down below, connected to the sacrum and the spinal column, and they go to the bottom of the spinal cord, and then they ascend, and as they return back upward, they illuminate the beautiful light, the dormant brain cells, and this is the true Santa Claus that's a-coming. So be ready. Be ready in your hearts, folks. Just enjoy the fact that you are alive right now. No need to panic. A lot of people write to me and express their concern. Well, I don't think I've done this well enough or that enough, and how can you get ready in a week, and how can you, you are ready. You always have. All the lives that you have ever lived has readied you for this moment, because that's why you are alive. We are here on the stage, all of us, ready to see what happens. And in fact, we're not the only ones. There are extraterrestrials, there are many super entities of this universe that are all watching. Everybody's watching. The whole universe is watching. So you guys, you're the stars of the show. It's you that are being seated as sons of God. And as we are elevated into a new dimension, these entities are all there, and they're loving, and they are loving, and they are all there waiting to see how we, their brothers, will be reunited with them. Because the controllers of this planet, who have had their day, have disconnected us from them. You know, they don't allow us to think that we've got guides, that we've got our own angels, who are us, just aspects of us in the higher realms, that we have archangels, that we have bigger brothers that care for us, that we can talk to. Yeah, they want us to be disconnected from them. It's just, to them, they want us to think that it's a purely materialistic existence. Purely materialistic. Buy this, buy that, everything's material. Even the churches preach it. The churches are full of materialism. And they want their donations, and they want their clubs, and they diss all the other churches that in turn are dissing them. And that's what it's all about. Division. We've been disconnected from that unity that we are sensing right now. And we're not just sensing it with our illusory senses, you know, the sensory system in the body. It's a knowing. This is higher than sensing and thinking, folks. This is a knowing. We are coming into the age of knowing. Aquarius says, I know. And all who are baptized in the waters of Aquarius will know. No more doubt, no more believing. Oh, I believe in Jesus. I'm going to sit here in this church and warm this seat. And he's coming in the clouds over there. See that cloud? Oh, there he is. And he's going to save my butt because I didn't.
Yep, that's the point. It's apathy. That's what they want you to. That's what they want you to practice. It's don't worry. We're going to send a savior. There's a savior coming. He's going to rescue you, etc., etc., etc. It's absolute. It's the opposite of what you need to know.
Yeah, and the true thing that we need to know is this, that we are light, children of light. We are children of the sun, and we will return to the sun, undoubtedly. There's There's no hindrance to this. This is our path. We're on it.
Yeah, and again, it's all about our own choices and in which direction we want to take things. I mean, there's only two things we do as Creator God. In the pure sense, we are causality. We create an effect, and then in turn we observe that effect. And the only choices we have beyond that are how are we looking at it and what is the intention of the creation. And that's it. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, simplistic look at things. And I mean, it all ties in with Russellian. And everything that I've ever researched, and I've been in a lot of places, there is one common thread that runs through it. And it was, I mean, you can go from languages, astrotheology, I mean, you name it. It's all the same story told from a different perspective, from a different intention. And when you start to see the simplicities of it, all the stories start to make sense. So, I mean, a movie like Wizard of Oz will resonate with me more so than, say, with someone else that might get a lot more from, say, the Matrix movies or Santa Claus 1, 2, or 3. Star Wars is another one, and they're all the same story, if you know how to see it. Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien. And, it just depends on your perspective. What is resonating with your thread? What is your white rabbit that you have to follow? And the only thing that stops us moving on this thread and creating this fabric is our unwillingness, our blindness, or our inability to take that literal step of, not leap, it's a step of faith in the shoes of truth, to dare follow it. Follow your heart. And if you do, if you can have the courage to just follow your heart, it will never steer you wrong. That I will promise you. You know, I've made a lot of choices that were very difficult for me to make, but I made one commitment and one commitment only, that once I found the truth, regardless of what I saw potentially coming at me, and there was a lot, I stood it anyway, and I had many days of, shaking just before I'd send an email, because I sent out a lot of emails to a lot of, my lists included the Vatican and, the President, Queen, and Rothschilds and all the rest of it, because there's no point in if I'm going to talk to people on the radio, I want to make sure that I'm getting the message out to those that would, claim to be the rulers. Or at least get into that realm where, if I'm gonna find truth, I have to shine light, my own light, into the darkest places. And one of the things that I will offer up to all the Geminians out there, which I am one, you have a very, very high responsibility of shining as much light as you can. Maybe, Santo, you might want to explain a bit of that responsibility to the other Geminis out there.
Yeah, well, the last time that we were in an air sign was in Gemini, and that was 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. And this is what the historical, if you like, rendition of the Bible is all about when it refers to the Garden of Eden. The twins are Adam and Eve, Pollux and Castor. And one of them is naughty and the other one's divine. Yes, we've heard that before in all of the religious motifs. It's the same story. But this is the point that all of the biblical astrologers have ever made. And that is that when we enter the air signs, we are entering signs of humanity and mind and knowing. And the air signs have always provided us with the best, the best illumination and light, so to speak. Aquarius is all about that, and Gemini was the last time when we had that, when we had this light on the earth, and all the biblical astrologers concur. And then after Gemini, what happens is, you see, when you go from Gemini to Taurus, there's the galactic plane that you have to cross. Haha. Yeah. That's where the Milky Way galaxy intersects the 12 signs in between Gemini and Taurus. So what happened was, as the sun was going down and it fell into Taurus, Taurus represents, in biblical theology, the negative side of Taurus is this: lust, greed, strong delusion. Because that's what Venus stands for. That's what the bull, the earth, the fixed earth sign stands for. So there was a fall, and actually in the skies, in the heavens, in astronomy, the sun fell, because it fell from the northern skies. Gemini belongs to the northern part of the Milky Way galaxy. From Gemini all the way to Scorpio, they are the northern stars. Now, so from Taurus to Sagittarius, they are southern. Those 6 are below the equator of the Milky Way galactic plane, you see. So literally, the sun did fall from those heights 6,000 years ago. So Gemini is, we're harking back to a very, very similar period in history when there was good mental oneness on this planet. Those other signs, Taurus destroyed it. Aries was Mars, ruled by Mars. It was very martial. We had empire. And then Pisces is the waters of delusion and separation. The 2 fish symbolize the division that would occur for humanity until Aquarius would come. And this is why Jesus said, when you see the Son of Man in the heavens, know that the kingdom of God is at hand, or the kingdom of heavens is at hand. Well, the kingdom of heavens, heaven is in your body. It's in the head. In fact, the word head comes from heaven. It's just a shortened version of heaven. So head is heaven. And if you want to find hell, look at the other end of your body, heel. Yeah, the heel of your foot is hell, and the head is heaven. It's all in the language, guys. I didn't put it there. It's there. You just got to pay attention and notice it. And so, when Jesus, the true literary character that was created, said, when you see the Son of Man in heavens, he was talking about Aquarius, know that the kingdom of heaven is near. Well, here we are. That's what we're talking about. It's here. What are we going to make of it? Well, let's see how good we are.
Again, yep, all possibilities exist. Just which one do we want to experience as individuals?
We're going to know how...
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to know in the next few days how good we really are. And I think we're pretty good.
I think we're great. One of the things that came up with Ian's Lungold, yeah, absolutely, I love Ian's stuff. He wrote some beautiful essays that were highly resonant with me ages ago. One of the things that I do like, and I've talked to you about this, Santo and Tony, with regards to October 28th of last year. That was the end of the cycle. That was the end of Pisces. And what we entered from there, this is my feeling and understanding and intuition on it, is that we entered... we left Pisces on October 28th. That was the end of the calendar. And what we entered was the quickening of the in-between, which, as I've actually experienced and was able to see from my own perspective, that each 29.5-day cycle was literally a 2,160-year galactic cycle crushed into that 29.5 days. And that's why I refer to this as the quickening. And on December 21st, we leave this transition zone that, in order to cross a threshold, there must be a threshold. It doesn't go bang bang. You have to kind of get a little bit of prep time here. And on December 21st, we enter Aquarius. So we're leaving the transition zone of the between ages. That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah. We're leaving the cusp. The cusp is still somewhat diluted in force. In fact, it's mixed with the two essences, the two fluids. The fluid of Pisces is mixed with, since 62 actually, 1962. It's a 50-year period of transition. And Pisces must forever, or not forever, but at least for 26,000 years, it must desist in 5 days' time. It stops. It's the end. End of the road for Pisces, beginning of Aquarius.
Exactly. And again, what we're dealing with here is very fluid time and space, which is that which we create in the now of the present thought. There are you have to treat it as that loose thread that you must become in order to weave in. If you have been so taught, as in tight, if you've been so taught to follow strict and stringent rules, you're going to miss it. And the idea here is to let go of the chains that you're holding to the point where you're going to have a little faith in yourself. And if you can't have faith in yourself, don't expect anyone else to, because, really what we're here, for me anyway, what I'm here to learn is to, one, find the essence of me, the ascends of me. That's what the ascension is. And how I weave my particular thread in and around all the other threads of you. And, the looser I can keep that thread, the easier it is to weave. Instead of being caught in a web or a net all the time, I don't know, it's really hard to put into words here. It's where you become absolutely tolerant and intolerant at the same time. It's where oil and water meet. They will never mix, but they will touch. And that's where I've basically lived my life anyway, just the nature of the being I am, in that I've always walked on both sides of the coin at the same time, where the oil and water, on occasion got, shook up and mixed together, but ultimately and fundamentally that oil and water, they don't mix, they just touch. And there's a space between it. There must be, and that's what we're in right now is that flux between the oil and water. That's how I see it, and we move from one to the other through this beautiful little transition, as above, so below. I mean, thing is, I see the fractals, and I follow my white rabbits, and I see things now. Like I said, 2-3 weeks ago, and even yesterday compared to today, I was unconscious, and that's what we're doing. Is we're gradually climbing our own Jacob's ladder, and the only truth that you can handle is the truth that you want to handle. And your leap of faith is determined only by you and the amount of fear that you allow into your universe, because the only thing that's going to stop, think about it, guys, you're creator God, for crying out loud. What have you got to fear if you're infinite? You see, and this is the thing, once you start adopting that, it takes a bit of getting used to, but once you start even adopting that mentality, you go through paradigm, I did anyway, paradigm shifts of, where you start laughing at things, like you see these cops in uniform, and they're all powerful, almighty, and it's like I laugh at it, because the only thing that gives them any sense of authority is something that somebody has given them, and what they've done is given up their ability, their golden hammer of love, or the golden hammer I love, authority, right? And it's pitiful. It really is. They've traded in their God stature for permission to go out and think that they're a physical manifestation of God because they're packing a 9mm penis extension? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I'll hold the mirror up to you and have a look at you, and, if you want to wear the costume, that's fine. You knock yourself out, enjoy it, and I'm not going to trespass on your free will choice. And here's the thing, the invisible wizard is watching. You want to trespass on others? Well, that's karma stuff that you're collecting, and the golden rule says this: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So if it is harm you are wishing upon another, then obviously in the mirror it is harm that you are desiring for yourself. So enjoy. I mean, I grant you your wish. I love you so much that I will. Me, I'll just keep doing what I do, and I'm good.
My shiny badge keeps on popping out to me every time.
Look at my shiny badge.
Awesome. Yeah. What was Scott's second name, Kate?
What was that again, Tony?
What was Scott's second name? I'm terribly sorry. I can't remember his second name.
Yeah, actually, I make a positive intent to not bother remembering that. Scott, what you need to do if you want to find his documentary, it's have to look up What the Fuck, which is F-U-Q. I'm just going to say it as it is. So that's the word. So you can make out of what you want. I speak freely. I don't have any rules. My intent is pure. I share truth, and I share what I know. Sorry, guys, get over it. Don't worry, you'll get over me. I did. moving along. Anyway, you should look at the video. It's quite funny. He did a spectacular job of showing
the way it is.
Yeah, of showing how ridiculous these people really are, and this whole sense of feigned authority that they're living in. It's have pity, people. They're living in an illusion, and they're going to spend who knows this lifetime and how many others until they finally get to be us, and where they're scratching their head, going, "Why is this happening to me?" Again, this is camp, guys. This is training ground for angels. And not all the kids are getting out of kindergarten. And that's okay. Not all kids were meant to. It wouldn't be a game otherwise. So, I just want to leave the best class behind that I possibly can and be a part of the future of, if I can be of service, which is my role, a servant of servants, I'm very happy to do so. But I go back to the obligations and gifts and all the rest of it. I do not accept any obligations or debts from anyone. Period. That's it. I will not give them, and I will not accept them. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. The code book says it all. There's so much out there if you can see it. So all you got to do is look.
Awesome. Just for the listeners as well, I've just found that documentary in there, and I'm going to put that into the chat room so people can go and check it out. It's some awesome stuff. But anyway, it's all good.
Yeah, I believe Santos had shared it a while back, but let me see if I can find it and get it on his page.
Yeah, I've just put it in the chat room there, so cool.
All right, guys. Well, we're down to the last 10 minutes, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And I think we've established about as best we can that here we are facing the great potential for uplifting everything, the vibration on this planet. And I'm sure conversations like this that we're having and all the listeners participating in and agreeing and understanding the same things that we understand, I'm sure this is contributing to receiving from the heavens a great vibration for this beautiful Mother Earth. And I'm sure other conversations that are being had in other radio shows by people of like mind are also contributing, and that can spill over to everybody on this planet, because there is a lot of suffering in that illusory world that people are participating in. It seems that they just don't get it. They don't understand. Well, they don't. They don't understand where the source of suffering is coming from. And it's their participation in the fiction. And so we've established that, and we know that something big is coming. It's already happening. In fact, I feel it every day. I felt two major shifts in the last week. I felt one just before the 12th of the 12th of the 12th. And then I felt one after it, guys. I don't know what any of you felt, but I know that things have changed in me that have indicated that outward of me there has been a change in this solar system.
Most
so it's
definitely.
already happening.
Yes. Oh yes. I can tell when I go out.
Yeah. Totally.
It's on, and we're in it. We're in it now. We're in the tail, and we're getting caught up into it, and it's irresistible, and no use trying to stop it. It'd be like an ant on a rail track trying to stop a locomotive.
Yep.
This is coming. The light is coming, and it's going to invest us with its light, and we will receive it if we're ready, and we are ready. We've been ready for a long time. We've ceased to be a part of the show, and we've ceased to be a part of the fiction and the illusions and all of the gossip and slander that goes on. We're over it. It's all over for us, and so it's beautiful. Let's contemplate that. Let's know that we've arrived. This is the arrival. It's the we are about to celebrate the birthday, not only of the solar system or the galaxy, but of the universe. That's how many zeroing points are going to be on that horizon on the 21st. Come what may, let us return our gratitude to the universe for what we have experienced, even though we've suffered, and let's be thankful on that day and give thanks for whatever comes our way, because it will be for our benefit, for our eternal benefit.
Oh, absolutely. Again, that's why I tell people, it's like, I had my own internal war with all of this too, but at the end of the day, I have nothing left but love and gratitude for those that you know, in this illusion harmed me. What it did was it woke me. Sorry about your luck, guys. Didn't work. Thank you very much. I love it. And just to let you know, Sonda, we got a little over 5 minutes left here. We have one caller that just checked into the board. So if you don't mind, we'll check to see if they have any questions or comments before we close out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Area code 859-215. Questions or comments?
Yeah, one correction. I believe that Cindy referred to Scott Onstadt at secretsinplainsight.com. I believe that's the individual she referred to, rather than the other one on the video.
No, Scott Bartell is the producer of the What the Fuck video.
Yeah, okay.
So Scott Onstadt, he that's another Scott, but they were trying to figure. That's okay, quite all right. We've got a lot of Scotts out there, but they were looking for the last name of the fella who did the frequently unanswered questions of the Australian government.
Well put.
Yeah, Scott Onstadt is spectacular, by the way. Well worth a view on his website.
Yeah, he is. He's done a great job.
Scott Onstadt was actually the Secrets in Plain Sight was the first video that I watched that started my wake-up process, and then eventually I found Santos, and then Bill Donahue, and so many others out there that are all doing their own thing, their own subjects, and it just started a never-ending learning process for me. I didn't think I was going to be going back to school in this manner, but I love it. I can't get it.
Me too. And thanks
to everyone, all the efforts.
Thank you for all the purpose. It's appreciated. So again, thanks for calling in with your comments. Everyone's welcome. You know that.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There we go. Again, then that just helps to generate more clarity for getting the word out on both the Scotts, because they both have their own threads, and they're both equally important, just like we all have our own threads that we're weaving. And we're all taking a different path, and isn't it wonderful to watch how all these intricate, beautiful threads are starting to weave together from all different perspectives. So, we got 3 minutes left there, Santo. I guess we can wrap her up for you.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, I'd just like to tell the listeners that I have got an extra show tomorrow, and I'm thinking of getting Matt Presti and Robert O'Tay. I haven't approached them yet, but I want to get someone of that nature, and I might even ask Ben Stewart, because lo and behold, we are now friends on Skype. Thanks to who? Did someone give me the contact?
I've had Ben on the show, and we've done some radio shows before, and I've met Ben in person. He's a beautiful guy. Incredible.
Well, yeah. Well, now we're friends. He just sent a message. Great to be connected, Santos. I dig your work. So how nice is that? And I've been digging his work for a lot longer than he's been digging my work. So if there are any listeners, out there that have a preference, I'm not guaranteeing that I'll get any of them. I may not be able. They might be busy, but let me know your feedback, and I'll try and get them on for tomorrow's show. But listen in, and we'll have some more goodies for you tomorrow. That's about all I want to say. Anyone else? Take it over, guys.
Oh, I'm good. We got a little over a minute and a half here. Told ya. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks for letting me helm the board again tonight, Santo. It was a pleasure and honor to do that for you. And that way, as I was saying to Cindy earlier, you can just go and not have to worry about anything else. And I'll do the walking and chewing gum at the same time over on this end. So thank you so much for what you do. And Tony and Cindy and everyone that's been and a part of my life, I have nothing but eternal gratitude. Thank you.
Oh,
and
thank
again,
you.
I've got to put a call out to Cynthia, Cindy, and Sandy. Hey, how about that one? All behind the scenes, they're the powerhouses at work to keep us guys, out there doing it. And thanks so much to them. I really can't. I can't put enough enough praise behind that. It's hard, it's awesome. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. It really is. And thank you all for having me. I was very honored to be on the show with you guys tonight.
A pleasure. So on behalf of freedomreigns.us and Blog Talk Radio, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that tuned in. Thank you so much. Tune in again, always at 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Syncretism. The magic, the real magic. Have a great night. Okay, we're off the air, guys.
Yay!
I'll be ending the call now just because we want to get the archive up. But great job, as always. Always a pleasure. Love you all.
Yeah. I think it went great. I really do.
Likewise. Absolutely. I'm so honored to be with you guys, and I'm so thankful that you joined me, and what a beautiful show. One of the best. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Santos.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk soon then.
All right, wonderful. You have a beautiful day, Santos.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Tony, good night.
You too. See you later, guys.
All right.
Waiting for the end of the episode.
Yet, but we're working on it as fast as we can, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be awesome.
Yes, it will.
And you've got some great people working there. Is that right, Tony? I mean, I know that, but what sort of a team have we got there on this website?
Well, Kate's got Cynthia, given Cynthia, who's working on all Kate's material. Kate's got a massive archive of information, all that's been put into the back end library, so to speak. Cynthia's obviously putting your huge library into place in the back of the site, and obviously I'm putting in the book, which is the core of the reason why I'm sat here, privileged to be with you guys here today. Releasing the basic information and some how can I put it, musings behind it, I suppose you could say. Trying to figure out this whole puzzle, as we all are doing. We're all pieces to the puzzle. It's when we bring everything together, that's when it finally clicks. And that's what we're actually doing here. We want to do it through radio shows, video shows, information, documents, videos. Santos, you're world-class blooming videos, mate. They're just incredible. But everybody knows that anyway, so. But the point is, it's world-class information. And that's all about bringing it together and making it all work synchronistically together. I'm working on it.
Yeah, you gotta love those long words,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shall I break it down? No, don't worry about it. we won't go there tonight. Yeah, I just wanted to put forth my gratitude for giving Cynthia. I mean, within 24 hours of meeting her, she put up the loveovermind.wordpress site, just set it all up, and has been so meticulous at staying on top of it for me, because I will be blunt and honest, as always, without the potty mouth even, that there is no way I could have maintained any form of an archive with the workload that I'm doing And you know, every day I wake up questioning, you know, why am I doing this? And the answer is always the same thing. It's because I care about each and every individual on this earth. You're all my blood. You're all my family. I don't differentiate between the direct bloodlines that I'm involved in and others that I've never met. So this is one of the reasons why I do not have any quarrels in my quiver for anyone. Any quarrels they may have with me, well, that's theirs, and they can have that, and that's okay. Again, I go back always to the only source that I have of truth for me, and that's the mirror. And the reflections I get back throughout the days and the weeks of my life of what I interact with, I am but one thread, as we all are. We're all one thread. And the tighter we pull those threads in our lives and tornadoes that we create within our lives, only makes it more difficult for us to interweave with others. So what I've chosen to do, it's the only choice I really have made, is to not make a choice anymore, and just to let my thread run loose, and to see how I can weave this new space-time fabric with others, and you know, what kind of pictures that we can weave together. And until we decide, as you know, individuals collectively, to you know, just let it loose a little bit, let it go, take the tension out of it, and see how you weave with those around you, how your coincidences and synchronicities line up when you start following your own white rabbit. And you know, I gotta say, the only truth that has been fully resonant, that encompasses everything that I've looked at throughout my particular thread of life here, is that as soon as I follow that one beautiful thing, you know, my attitude's simply this, and you know, it's like I don't even know the guy, and people like that, what they offer me is a beautiful opportunity to take an even deeper look into myself, you know, to gauge where I'm at, and I know my mirror, and no one else knows my mirror. I don't know his, so I don't know what he's looking at, and nor is it any of my business. So all I can do is flow extreme gratitude and pure love for someone who has never met me, has passed extreme judgment for whatever reason. I mean, that's his mirror, and that's okay. But what I did get is a wonderful opportunity to remove any obligation that I may or may not feel. So I have to say thank you, and I flow all the love I can in terms of healing. If that's what you need, then my energy is infinite. So please enjoy that, and that's really it for me. It's like I love, like they say, you know, love thine enemies, and that is love thine no vengeance. And I can't offer anything but love and light and gratitude back to this being for giving me another opportunity to look even deeper into my own mirror, to make sure that I can look in it and say I'm doing the right things, and I am making a difference for those that care to allow me to do that without obligation. So thank you.
Yes, just throw them some love. Give them a hug. They need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of suffering, and this is clearly an example of much suffering. If people cannot discern that we are here just for truth and for light, and you know, none of us are perfect. I certainly am not, and I constantly tell people, please don't follow me, don't look up to me, please, because I'm that's not my role. I'm just a researcher, and all I want to do is put out information, true information, which will result in knowledge, and then will result in wisdom, so that our brothers, our beautiful brothers, who really seek a better world, will have that. And I hope that for all the listeners, that this show will never, ever be defiled by naysayers and slanderers. Friends, listeners, please, regardless of any of my obvious failings and whatever, please let let us look toward the kind of knowledge that will really, truly liberate us. We have a chance now. Syncretism's back. It is back. And it's here to stay. And syncretism will dissolve all the falsehoods of this system. Look at this system. Please take a good look at it. Look at how sick this system is. We had a shooting in Connecticut just a couple of days ago, and of course that one's tied to the banksters again. Of course they attacked the son of someone who is going to provide evidence in court against Chase Morgan. This Chase Morgan, whoever, Manhattan Chase Bank, whatever they're called, all of these alphabet banks and agencies, they will perish. They will perish. These are the criminals that are staging these shootings because they have their backs against the wall. They know that all. I have been very protected by these type of creepy people. To say that in 2 years of putting out truth information on syncretism, astrology, astrotheology, sovereignty, law, astronomy. I've taught people about etymology, Russellian science, biochemistry, the cell salts, sacred geometry, numerology, music, languages. I mean, I can go on. For 2 years I've been doing this, and I have only had 4 vicious slanderers who have attacked me. And not me. They attack the truth because, it's like an out-of-control immune system that attacks everything that comes into the body. When the immune system is out of whack, if you put something good in it, it will actually attack it, right? And because it's not working properly. So to say that I've only had 4 of these creepy types, when I look at other truthers out there, other great people, and see all of the attackers and all the naysayers that jump on them like parasites and vampires and scorpions hiding behind rocks to bite at the heels of men who are standing in their honor and who are delivering truth in this dark world that we live in. To say that I've only had 4 of these creepies, and the latest one, little boy Joe with that, I don't know, when you look at his face on his videos, you can tell that there's some, the guy has only got one talent to his name, and that is to slander. He's all full of slander. And I'll just share with the folks that this guy's making videos saying, and I will declare tomorrow on American Freedom Radio how much money I make from American Freedom Radio, because he's gone out and said that I get paid by American Freedom Radio. Well, I'm going to put that one to rest. That's slander, and I'll fix that tomorrow. And the other thing he's done is he's actually gone and insulted all the musicians in the universe who have ever lived, because I'm a world-class musician, and I do street performances, but I do not put my hat out. I've never done that. If you ever see any pictures of me where I put my hat out, that's because I'm playing with someone else who insists that they put the hat out so that they can have coffee money. But I only perform in shopping centres and malls and top quality gigs without my hat. I only sell my CDs. So I've always been a street performer in this context, people. I play my guitar and I sell my top quality CDs. I've sold over 100,000 CDs in my 12-year street performing career, and that has, amounted to much pleasure and joy for the people who have bought those CDs. He has gone and called me, apart from telling the world and issued in his videos that I get money from American Freedom Radio. I'll fix that one tomorrow from the station itself. He's called me a panhandler. Now, this is what happens when people have mental viruses. Tomorrow I will point people to the videos that they can go and watch from this Joe, I don't know what his surname is, but anyway, he's a slanderer, and I'll put that to rest. And that's all I want to say. if you care to add anything to that, Kate or Cindy or Tony, feel free to. But I don't think we should spend any more time on it.
Yeah.
Move on to the good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Don't give him any more energy, Santos. I mean, every time I've seen you play music, your hat's on your head, and I think enough said there.
Welcome one and all to Syncretism. You're with Santos Bonacci, and guest today I have with me the usual Kate and Tony, and we have Cindy with us today. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it all going?
Good. Got the helm for you here, and looking forward to some wonderful revelations.
Oh, yeah. How are you, Cindy?
Well, her mic's hot. Just 1 sec. Let me just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How
there
about
you
now?
are.
There we go. I had to push my button.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
That's my favorite Blog Talk saying.
Yeah. How is everybody?
Great.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. How are you, Tony, over there in the UK?
Yeah, not too bad. So yourself?
Yeah, great. Absolutely fantastic, guys. We've got a big show today. We're only 5 days from the big crossing, which is the birthday of the universe. 0 point in all cycles. Not just the processional cycle. We're talking about big cycles. I've covered this subject in as best as I can, not being, of course, a scientist or anything like that, but as best as I can, I've covered the cycles and zeroed in on them and in my presentations, and this is the big one. So today we're gonna focus on that. We're going to talk about the subject of light, and we're going to get into some Russellian science, because the wonderful Walter Russell had a lot to say about the true nature of existence. And I'm going to read some choice bits from one of his greatest work, The Secret of Science. So the listeners are in for some really good information to prepare them for the great crossing that's coming on the weekend. So this is going to be a great show, folks.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say, just before we get stuck into it, just a quick 2 or 3 minute diversion. Please, friends, if you're interested in the preservation of truth and the furtherance of light and truth on this planet, stay tuned tomorrow on American Freedom Radio, because I'm going to expose some individuals who are seriously, viciously slandering the truth and pretending to be agents of light, and I will expose them. I won't spend much time on them, probably about 10 minutes, because they're not worth it. They're just not worth it. These are people who are infested with mental viruses. They cannot discern the difference between truth and the lie, and they serve the lie. They pretend to be friends of truth, these 4 that I'm going to mention, and their names are Joe, Kay, David, and Declan. So I know they're listening in, and they will be exposed. I've been very lucky. Guys, I need to say this first of all. The light is coming. They know that the 21st of December will bring a new paradigm to this planet. Whether or not that light will be established instantly, and we have instant peace and instant light and love on this planet, we do not know. It might take months, it might take a couple of years, but it won't be long, guys. rest assured. If they have anything left, it will be manifest in the very, very near future, and it will be dealt with because we will have the light and the equipment. And I will show you today how that's going to happen. And I will share some beautiful information from our beloved brother, Walter Russell, who wrote one of the greatest works in history, the book called The Secret of Light. God is light, the universe is light, we are children of light, even though we suffer in darkness sometimes because we don't have all the information and all the knowledge yet, but we will, because we are connected to it. We are connected to Source, each and every one of us. And today we will be dealing with that subject. And what better people that I have to join me than, and in particular, I want to reach out to all of the listeners who know that I have spent a lot of time with Kate and Tony and Pete, who is not with us today, but and in particular Cindy. Cindy I've known since August last year and has always been a great support to me and my work, but in particular the work that I'm doing. It's not me. It's not me, and it's my work. And Cindy, I'd like to welcome you to the panel, and can you share with us, and Tony will be able to share some light too, because you two are working fervently at the moment to produce a beautiful website whereby we will have the best resources of truth available on the planet, hopefully. Can you share with us what's going on with the website there, please?
I would love to. We are, Kate, Tony, and a few other select individuals are working on a brand new social network and spiritual university, if you will. It will be a library and archive of all the teachers, you, Kate, Tony, and we're going to most likely bring more into it, and it will be a complete archive of every radio show any of you have ever done, every video or anything written, all things combined, and eventually there will be much more webinars. We're going to possibly do, eventually we're looking towards live stream TV, all kinds of new fun stuff, and it's a very beautiful site. You can go and take a look at it at just the front door at www.synchronicity.com, and that's SYNCHRENICITY.com. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Just checking that real quick. Yes. I'm sorry, I spelled it wrong. It is www.synchronicity.com, and you'll see the front door to a brand new realm, and it's going to be a really fantastic place to come and learn, and much more.
Yeah, we do need to point out at this particular time, a lot of the information is being put in through the back of the site, so it's not actually available there for public viewing.